Welcome back to the deep dive. So picture this massive civilization, okay? Thousands of star systems, a galactic empire. You'd think it needs incredible tech, right?
Yeah.
Flexibility. But nope, this one, it's terrified of innovation, terrified of change itself. Today we're diving into the Carrion Empire. It's this human society that's basically locked itself in a second dark age for 1,000 years. And it's surviving. How? That's what we want to unpack. This whole stagnant, maybe decaying empire. Who's keeping it from collapsing? What forces are at play? Because it sounds fascinating and frankly a bit terrifying.
It really is a total historical paradox.
Right.
This empire, it didn't rise aiming for glory or expansion. It rose out of, well, sheer fear. It came after the old Imperium just shattered 1,000 years back. The last emperor, Orion Sol Phoenix, assassinated. Cue centuries of just chaos. Self-destruction, really. Humanity almost wiped itself out. The only thing that pulled it back from the brink was this group, the Codex Knights, the Ordinate of the Divine Codex. They grabbed fragments, at bits of the old laws, the Imperial Charter, and hammered them into something new. The Codex Law, that's the absolute bedrock, the legal skeleton keeping the whole corpse upright.
Okay, a skeleton, I get that.
Yeah.
But who's running the rest? The muscles, the organs? It's not an emperor now, right?
No, not in the old sense. The structure isn't about governing well. It's about not changing, ever. Maximum stasis.
So the real power, it's deliberately fractured, isn't it? Split three ways.
Exactly. You've got law, that's the Codex Knights we mentioned.
Yeah.
Then faith, the Church of Holy Light, and economy, the Guild of Unified Commerce. They balance each other, mostly by mistrusting each other.
Let's stick with the Knights for a second then. The Codex. They enforce the rules, so they seem primary.
They are, in a way. But they aren't politicians scheming for power. Think warrior monks. Their base isn't some fancy palace. It's the imperial system. A cluster of, tomb worlds and heavily armed stations all circling the Emperor's shrine world. Their authority comes from the past, from memory, and from, threat.
How do they keep everyone else in line, the really powerful groups?
It's a mix. Absolute legal authority, yes. The Codex Law is final, but they also have tech the others don't. Relics from the old Imperium, we're talking gravity reactive armor stuff, just shrugs off bullets. Disintegrator rifles that don't just kill, they erase. And crucially, they're ships, way faster than anything the great houses can field.
Ah, okay. So it's law backed by untouchable firepower.
Precisely, legal supremacy with a very big stick.
Right. And under them you have the day-to-day political players. The
Yeah.
10 great houses. Scorpion, Raven, Lion, Shark, all those.
Yeah. Wolf, snake, dragon, phoenix, mantis, spider. The Big Ten, they're the oligarchs. They carve up the galaxy into sectors, run local economies, have huge armies, huge fleets.
But they still have to bow to the Codex.
Yeah.
Always. What strikes me is how specialized some are. Like House Scorpion is all spies and shadow wars.
Mm-hmm. And Raven handles data. They're the librarians and record keepers. Shark builds the ships, controls space trade.
They sound like they could easily start tearing chunks out of each other, though. How does the Codex stop that? Just the threat of the big stick?
Well, yes, but it's more nuanced. They actually allow some conflict. Limited stuff. Espionage, sabotage, even assassinations. They call them sanctioned duels. It happens between the big centennial meetings, the High Council of Peers. The Codex knows you can't bottle up all the pressure. You manage it.
Manage it. Okay. But galactic-scale conflict seems like a risk.
It is. And that's where the other deterrent comes in. History. 3 houses, Gorgon, Jackal, Kraken, stepped way out of line. Treason, heresy, unauthorized wars. The Codex didn't just slap their wrists, they wiped them out. Total destruction. Annihilation under Codex fire.
Oof.
Yeah. So the other houses remember that. They squabble, they probe, they backstab. But they know the ultimate line, the Codex will preserve the stasis, even if it means extermination.
So the Codex locks down the political structure with law and fear. What about hearts and minds? How do you keep a whole galaxy scared of progress, especially technology? That sounds like the Church's job.
Exactly. The Church of Holy Light. They provide the philosophical justification for stagnation, their core belief. The old Imperium fell because humans started worshiping machines. They saw tech as equal, maybe even superior. That, the Church says, corrupted humanity. So they preach the 3 illuminations. 1, the flesh is sacred. 2, the machine must serve. 3, the void space, the unknown, is corruption.
And the Codex is okay with this.
They tolerate it, yeah. Because it serves the ultimate goal, stability. The Church keeps people scared of new ideas, scared of tech. That helps the Codex maintain control. No disruptive innovations upsetting the balance.
Okay, but here's the thing that always gets me. The leader, the Pontifex Radiant, he rules from the throne of glass, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's His mind is plugged into a machine, isn't it? A neural relay keeping him alive, broadcasting his decrees. That feels like, well, machine worship.
Yes, that's the great loophole, isn't it? It all hangs on that second illumination. The machine must serve, they argue, the throne of glass, the relay. It's just advanced life support. It's serving the pontifex's sacred mind, letting him continue his holy work. It's medicine maintenance, not veneration.
Wow, that's some serious semantic gymnastics.
It absolutely is. But any machine is showing independence, thinking for itself. That's total heresy. That's where the Order of the Sanctified Blade comes in.
Militant arm. Scary.
Yeah, terrifying. They hunt heretics, sure. But also anyone dabbling in forbidden tech, especially unlicensed AI or, God forbid, self-aware AI, and void users, people touching that corruption. Their public executions, cleansings of light are brutal reminders. Step out of line, venerate the machine, and you get purged. Publicly.
And this fear gets baked into the economy, too, through the guild.
Directly. The Guild of Unified Commerce controls all the trade, all the shipyards, all the tech education. If you try to research something new, something unauthorized,
It's not just illegal.
it's tech blasphemy, punishable by the church with excommunication, maybe death, and the Guild cuts you off completely. No resources, no trade, nothing.
Okay, so no AI, stagnant tech. But like I said at the start, how do you run thousands of star systems? Logistics alone must be insane. You need calculation power. What replaces the AI?
Now this is maybe the weirdest, most fascinating part. The Tawa engineers.
Human computers.
Essentially, yes. Since AI is forbidden, they cultivate human minds to do the job. They take kids, train them from childhood. Intense meditation, chemical conditioning,
Yeah.
deep focus techniques. These aren't just mathematicians. They can model entire planetary economies, calculate FTL jump trajectories for fleets, manage galactic supply chains, all in their heads.
Whoa.
It's unbelievable mental discipline. The church, well, they tolerate the Tao engineers, just barely, because they're still human. Their consciousness is the master, the calculations are the service, even if it skirts really close to worshiping the mind itself.
The strain must be immense. Performing, like, supercomputer-level tasks through sheer focus.
Oh, undoubtedly. And it points to the fragile reality of the Empire. It is stagnant. They're giant starships. They run on pre-fall drives. Ancient tech nobody really understands anymore. They can operate them mostly, maintain them, sort of, but improve them, build something new, absolutely not. That's heresy. Preservation is the only goal. They're just coasting on fumes from a dead golden age, fighting entropy tooth and nail.
Fighting internal entropy. But there's something else out there, isn't there? Something ancient and wrong. The black monoliths.
Yeah, the monoliths, they predate the Empire. Maybe predate humanity in space. These huge, black, seamless spires, they don't reflect light, found drifting in dead systems, sometimes orbiting dead worlds, and they pulse weird gravitational waves that distort space nearby. And worse, they seem to twist memory itself. Being near one, it feels fundamentally wrong, like reality is thin there.
And the Codex warning about them is pretty stark.
Unusually unified on this, the Codex says, don't study them, don't touch them. They aren't artifacts, they're anchors.
Anchors to what?
To the void realm, a dimension outside normal space-time, outside light, a place where apparently thought itself can manifest, breed monsters.
And things come out of these monoliths. Void entities.
They do. And they're terrifying because they often mimic human forms, twisted versions of people, maybe people you knew. They feed on emotion, fear, memory, and standard weapons, lasers, bullets. They just pass through, or the entity dissolves into shadow and reforms later. They come back. You can't just shoot them dead.
So how do you stop them? Permanently.
You have to destroy their connection, their pattern. The sources say 3 things work. Fire, it burns the echo. Faith, the sheer power of belief can sever the anchor. Or disintegration, like the night rifles, erases the pattern entirely.
So conceptual destruction, not just physical.
Exactly. Break the link to the void realm or obliterate their very essence. Otherwise, they just keep coming.
And this constant background radiation of cosmic horror. It fuels something else, doesn't it? The cults.
It creates the perfect breeding ground. You have the great houses creating misery and poverty in the underbellies of society. The church offers dogma, but maybe not much real solace if you're truly broken.
So people look elsewhere.
Exactly. To the forbidden faiths, cults worshipping void-linked entities like Malaroth, the Black Dream, or Nithra, the Unseen Queen. They promise power, release from suffering, casting off frail human flesh.
Feeding on the despair the system itself creates.
Precisely. The Empire breeds the conditions for its own spiritual decay, creating worshippers for the very horrors it officially tries to keep out. It's a grim cycle.
Okay, so we have this rigid, fearful, stagnant galaxy, locked down by law, faith, and economics. But there's one group that seems to slip through the cracks. The Void Runners.
Ah, the runners. Yeah, they're unique and utterly essential, paradoxically. They're independent ship captains. To become one, you renounce everything: your house, your family name, your rank, your citizenship. You swear allegiance only to the Codex Ordinate itself.
And that gives them neutrality.
Total neutrality, which means they can cross borders between houses that might be in the middle of a sanctioned, low-level war. They carry vital messages for the Codex, transport sensitive envoys, even hunt bounties across hostile lines.
They're the communication network, the couriers in this lockdown system.
Basically, yeah. The grease in the rusty gears. Their ships bear the Black Sun seal of the Codex. They carry a charter of passage, has to be renewed every 10 years.
And attacking one is a big deal.
Huge. Level 1 Codex violation. That means immediate fleet action against the offender, potentially stripping the house of its titles and territory. The Codex protects its messengers fiercely. They need them.
Their oath sums it up, doesn't it? I surrender my crest, my house, my blood.
I take the seal in the void as my kin. No flag but the Codex. No law but the law. It's a stark commitment.
They call themselves the last free men in a chained galaxy.
And maybe they are. Constantly navigating treacherous politics, always tempted by bribes from the houses, they rely on small, tough, often heavily modified ships. They keep the bare minimum of connection alive when the houses seal their borders, the last flicker of movement in a galaxy trying desperately to stand still.
And their existence kind of highlights the ultimate internal contradiction, the real powder keg, maybe.
Yeah.
The Phoenix heresy.
Ugh, yes. House Phoenix, descendants of the last emperor, Orion's sole Phoenix. They're doing the most forbidden thing imaginable. Cloning. Trying to resurrect the emperor. They think a reborn Phoenix could reunite humanity, break the stasis, maybe even fight back against whatever is out there. But the entire system is built to prevent that kind of unification. A single leader threatens the Codex, the Church, the Guild, all of it. The Church screams blasphemy. The Codex declares it high treason.
Have they tried to stop them?
Oh, yeah. The Codex has already glassed 2 of House Phoenix's research facilities, orbital bombardment, purity protocols. But the House persists, secretly, trying to raise a ghost to change the future. It's incredibly dangerous.
So wrapping this up, what's the takeaway here? The Carrion Empire survives by, what, clamping down on everything?
Pretty much. It defines stability as arrested development. This long stasis is maintained by outlawing progress, by weaponizing fear and memory.
And it works, sort of, because everyone inside fears what's outside even more.
Yeah.
Like the Carrion Empire you mentioned.
Exactly. That silent, non-human, machine-led empire on the fringe. That's a terror everyone can agree on. So they tolerate the decay, the stagnation, because the alternative seems worse. It's a calculated bargain with entropy.
But the knowledge is still out there. The Codex says don't study the monoliths, but the monoliths are still there, whispering.
Whispering forbidden truths, offering power. That's the constant tension. They try to lock everything down, but the universe keeps knocking.
So the final thought for you listening. The Empire locks down knowledge, but the monoliths exist. The desperate call the cult's salvation, and those whispers persist.
Whispers saying the monoliths aren't just relics, they're doors. If the Void Runners represent the last bit of movement in this frozen galaxy, what happens if those doors actually swing open? What happens to the last free men when the void spills out?